Hey, you're watching This Brown Geek, and in this video, I'm telling you everything that you need to know about pay per mile. I'll tell you why they're introducing this new tax and how they're justifying it. I'll tell you all of the changes that are coming and how it's going to affect your wallet. So watch this video to be in the know and be ready for the upcoming budget on November 26th. Of course, this is subject to change, but everything I discuss in this video is most likely what's going to happen. And this doesn't just affect EV drivers. This affects hybrids, petrols, and diesels too. Let's get into it. Okay, so first things first, why is the UK government doing this? Because as you know, right now, electric vehicles, they don't pay vehicle excise duty, also known as road tax. They don't pay the luxury vehicle tax, which is £425 a year from years 2 to 6. So you pay that for 5 years running. And they don't pay the congestion charge. All of that is changing. And not only is that changing for electric vehicles, it's also likely going to become more expensive for petrol, diesel, and hybrid vehicles too, which to me makes no sense at all. So let me show you why they're doing this, and then I'll show you examples of how much this will cost you and the average motorist in the UK. And I'll also explain how all of this works. So first things first, this is how they're justifying it. So the chart that you're looking at on your screens right now is the fuel duty tax receipts in the United Kingdom from 2010 to 2025. Now, as you can see on this chart, the UK government, by charging us duty, a tax on fuel, I think it's about 52 pence per litre, they raise anywhere between 20 billion and 27 billion by charging us this fuel duty. Fun fact about fuel duty, they add it onto the price of fuel and then they tax it. So they add VAT on top of that, so another 20%. So technically, we pay 20% tax on fuel duty, which is a tax. So we pay tax on tax. Anyways, let's get back to it. So as you can see here, in the year 2020 to 2021, they raised 20.93 billion. It was lower that year because of what was going on in the world, and less people were driving, therefore less people were buying fuel. So less people buying fuel means less fuel duty, less tax that they collect from all of us. Anyways, it did go up after that to 25.94 billion and is since dropped to 24.67 billion. So the problem that the UK government is foreseeing here is that as more people switch to electric vehicles, the amount of fuel that people are buying goes down because people don't need fuel for electric vehicles. So they need to offset that reduction in fuel duty that they're earning with something else. And that something else, unfortunately for all of us, is pay per mile. Now, leaks and rumors suggest that they will be charging 3 pence per mile for electric vehicles. But what most people aren't talking about is that they will also likely charge a pay per mile fee to petrol vehicles, diesel vehicles, and hybrids. Which makes no sense because then, in my opinion, they're double dipping because we already pay a duty on the fuel, which is a tax. So it sounds like we'll be taxed twice if this actually happens. So that's how they're justifying it. The amount of fuel duty being paid is going down because more people are buying electric vehicles. They need to offset that by charging people with electric vehicles more tax. If we find a way to pay less tax, then they have to top it up somehow and get that money back off us. And in most cases, they take more than what we saved. But if they want to squander taxpayer money away on silly projects, I guess that's okay, right? Anyways, back to the point. I want to show you this calculator I found. This calculator is really good and I will leave a link to it in the description down below. Now, this calculator is by the Electric Car Scheme, and this will tell you how much you'll be paying when pay per mile comes in. If you see up here, it says vehicle type and I've selected electric vehicle. Annual mileage, I've put it down as 8,000 miles because that's the average for a UK motorist. Vehicle list price is important and I'll tell you why in a second. And so is the year of registration. So as you can see here, if you buy an electric vehicle for, let's say, £40,000 and you do 8,000 miles per year, and you buy it in the year 2025, if you look down here under estimated cost impact, under the current system that we have right now, you will pay £10 in road tax or vehicle excise duty, and that's it. That is all you will pay per year. But if this pay per mile thing comes in, or even if it doesn't come in, from now on you will have a base vehicle excise duty of £195 a year. That's on your electric vehicle. It used to be £10 or nothing. And on top of that, for your 8,000 miles at 3 pence per mile, you will have to pay £240 a year, which means that your difference for the year is £425. That's how much extra you'll be paying once pay per mile comes in. But it gets even worse. Let's say that the electric vehicle that you buy is just over £40,000 or whatever, it's over 40 grand. So up to 40 grand, your vehicle excise duty or road tax is £195. But go above £40,000, so let's say £40,500, all of a sudden you have this expensive car supplement, which is £425. So now the difference between owning an EV now compared to when all this happens is £860 a year. So your base road tax at £195, pay per mile for 8,000 miles is £240, and your expensive car supplement, which is £425. Now, the expensive car supplement is nothing new. It's been there since 2017 for all vehicles. If your car costs over £40,000 in the UK, then for 5 years, you pay £425 on top of your road tax. But now this will also include electric vehicles. So some people might be thinking, oh, that's not really a big deal. But let's say that you wanted to buy a Tesla. Let's say you wanted a Model Y or a Model 3. So let's take a quick look. So here in the UK, if you were to buy the brand new Model Y, the base model, no upgrades, no autopilot, no fancy colors, no fancy interior, nothing, just literally the cheapest Model Y available in the UK, it will cost you £44,990. So you'll be paying £195 a year road tax on that, or vehicle excise duty, plus £425 per year from years 2 to 6. So for 5 years, you'll have to pay £425 on top of the £195, which is £620 a year more than what you would be paying right now. Do you see how crazy this is? Okay, that's the Model Y. Let's say that you wanted a Model 3, because obviously the Model 3 is less expensive, right? Here is the base level Model 3. This is the rear wheel drive. It's got no color upgrades, no interior upgrades, no alloy upgrades, no autopilot, nothing. This is the cheapest Model 3 you can buy in the UK right now, and it costs £39,990. So with this one, you will pay £195 a year for your road tax, and you will avoid the £425 a year on top of that for those 5 years, right? For the expensive vehicle tax or whatever it's called, the expensive car supplement. But let's say that you don't want a basic Model 3. Firstly, if you go up to any other trim like rear wheel drive or all wheel drive, long range performance, whatever, straight away you'll have to pay that £425 a year. Let's say that you don't like the color. 3 of these colors are free. Stealth Grey is free, Deep Blue Metallic is free, and Diamond Black is free. But if you want white, which is the pearl white multi-coat, that's £1,300. If you want Quicksilver, it's £2,000. And if you want Ultra Red, that's £2,000. If you choose any of those 3 colors, you will also have to pay £425 a year for 5 years. If you add any fancy wheels, again, £425 for 5 years. Even if you add a tow hitch, even if you want a white interior, that's an extra £425 a year for 5 years. That's crazy. Oh, and guess what? If you add autopilot, again, you will have to pay that £425 a year for 5 years. So the only way to get away with it on a Model 3 is to get the most basic Model 3 money can buy. If you add anything to it, £425 a year. Now, autopilot can be added later. So let's say that you did want the base Model 3 and you wanted autopilot. Then couldn't you just add autopilot later? I believe autopilot is cheaper if you buy it with the car. Don't quote me on that. It used to be like that. I don't know if it still is. But if it's not like that anymore, then just leave autopilot off when you buy the car. And then after you've bought it, call Tesla and add it on and pay for it. That way, you've bought the car for less than 40 grand and you're not liable to pay the £425 a year for 5 years. This is not financial advice. It's not tax advice. I might be wrong. But in my opinion, I think that's how it works. Anyways, let's go back to that calculator and take a look at some other examples. And I did mention that this is likely coming to petrol, diesel and hybrid cars as well, which makes no freaking sense. But let's take a look anyways. Experts are also speculating that they will add a pay per mile charge onto existing petrol, diesel and hybrid cars. So remember that drop down up here, which we set to electric vehicle? Let's change that to hybrid. Again, let's leave it on 8,000 miles. Let's drop the vehicle price down below 40 grand or at 40 grand to avoid that expensive car supplement for £425 a year for 5 years. And something interesting happens. As you can see down here, your base vehicle excise duty, your road tax is £195, but then you've got pay per mile, which is charged at 2.1 pence per mile. So less than the 3 pence per mile for electric vehicles, but it's not nothing. If you do an average of 8,000 miles per year, they will charge you £168 on top of your road tax, meaning that the difference for your year goes up by £168 for average mileage. Let's say that it's not a hybrid, let's say it's a petrol. Then it drops from 2.1 pence to 1.4 pence. So it's still higher than what you're paying now. It's £108 per year. But remember, we already pay duty on our fuel here in the UK. So not only are you paying that, you're now paying this, which means that the price of travel just went up for everyone, if this comes into effect, which it likely will, on the 26th of November. And finally, let's take a look at diesel vehicles. Those are at 1.5 pence per mile. So if you drive a diesel, you'll be paying even more, £120 extra per year. The funny thing is, if you drive a hybrid, it costs more than petrol and diesel. And if you drive an electric vehicle, it costs more than all of them. Now call me crazy, but I thought that the government was pushing for everyone to change to EVs by the year 2029 or something. Do you think that this will help adoption of this new technology? Will it drive sales down or will it increase sales? Because in my opinion, this will decrease sales and it will harm their climate change's bad net zero BS that they keep going on about. But I guess money is more important. I mean, we haven't even spoken about the congestion charge. I believe electric vehicles will also have to pay the congestion charge in London now. They used to be exempt. Let me take a quick look and I'll let you know. Okay, I found it. And guess what? It's not good news. Changes to the congestion charging scheme. So from the 2nd of January 2026, the daily congestion charge will increase. Because why would it ever go down? Nothing ever goes down. So if you pay it on the same day, it won't be £15 anymore, it will be £18. And if you pay it within 3 days of traveling in London, it will be £21 instead of £17.50. And to answer the question about electric vehicles, the existing 100% cleaner vehicle discount ends on the 25th of December 2025. So electric vehicles will no longer be exempt from the congestion charge in London. And not only that, from the 2nd of January, they will be paying even more than what we're paying right now. And the exemption ends on the 25th of December. So Merry Christmas. That's what you get. I mean, I really wish I could give you some good news sometimes, but there just doesn't seem to be any. Actually, here's something. A new tiered system of discounts will be introduced from January 2026. A 25% discount on the daily charge for electric cars registered on autopay. A 50% discount on the daily charge for electric vans, HGVs, and quadricycles registered on autopay. This means that the daily charge will be £13.50 for electric cars and £9 for electric vans, HGVs, and quadricycles, instead of £18 for vehicles on autopay. If the vehicle isn't registered for autopay, the discount charge will not apply. As the eligible vehicle numbers are expected to grow over time, the discount level will reduce. Oh, okay, so the more people that have electric vehicles, the less discount everyone will get until it's probably zero. So from the 4th of March 2030, that 25% will go down to 12.5%, and the 50% will go down to 25%. And then it gives you instructions on how to get the discount, which is on your screen right now. So if you want to see that, I'll zoom in for you so you can have a read, but I don't think we really need to go into that in this video. Anyways, look, the whole point of this video was to give you a heads up on what's coming. Reeves is announcing this budget on November 26th, which is in about 6 days. So everything that we've spoken about today is subject to change, but it's very likely that this is going to be it. Now, you may also be wondering, how will they know how many miles I do? Well, apparently the way they're trying to implement this is that when you're about to pay your road tax, that £195 a year, you will have to tell them upfront how many miles you think you'll do for the year. Now, if you don't do that many miles, then the overpayment that you made will carry over into the next year. Whereas if you've done more miles than what you told them, then you'll have to pay them a top up. In my opinion, the way I think they will likely do it is that every year when you get your MOT, I know new vehicles don't need an MOT for like the first 3 years. Maybe for the first 3 years, you estimate your mileage. But then after that, I have a feeling that they will look at your MOT, because you get an MOT every year. And when you get your MOT, they note down your mileage. So maybe they'll use that because it's on record everywhere with the DVLA and stuff. They'll be able to work out how much you owe them for how many miles you've done. So it starts at 3 pence per mile, but we know how this works. Even with fuel duty, that started quite low and it went up and up and up and up until at least the year 2000, when we had all those strikes because people were fed up of them raising duty on fuel. So yeah, it's starting at 3 pence per mile, but I don't think it'll stay there for very long. You know it's not going to stay there for very long. We all know what's coming, and 3 pence per mile is only the beginning. It will go up. On top of that, they keep talking about how they're losing all this money on fuel duty. But what they conveniently don't mention is that they're earning all this extra money on electricity. People are charging these cars in the UK. We're not going abroad to charge them. So all of the money that we're spending on this extra electricity to charge all these vehicles, that's not tax-free. They're still earning way more tax on electricity than they used to. Not to mention, energy prices here in the UK are really high. We're one of the most expensive in the world. And if you want to know why we have some of the most expensive energy in the world, I made a video about that, which you can find on the pop-up on your screen right up there. And in that video, you'll find out why the UK pays more for gas and electricity than most places in the world. So yeah, not only has it become way more expensive to be an electric vehicle owner in the UK, it looks like it will become more expensive for your petrol, diesel, and hybrid cars as well. We're in a cost of living crisis and an energy crisis in this country, so those prices keep on going up. But none of that matters, because the government really needs to offset the slight reduction in revenue that they earn from fuel duty. That's just great. Anyways, I hope you found this video informative or entertaining, or you learned something from this video. That's kind of the whole point of this video. We'll wait and see what Rachel Reeves says in the budget in about 6 days, and if something drastically changes, then I'll make a video to update you on it. But right now, it seems like this is what's going to happen. So please do give this video a like, again, if you found it informative, entertaining, or if you learned something from it. And please do consider subscribing if you haven't already. You've been watching This Brown Geek. I'll catch you in the next one.